chapter 5. I think I don't even know. I'm going to go from chapter 5 and chapter 19, so get them both ready. In chapter 5, Jesus is talking to some guys, some crowds, and he says, it was said in the Old Testament, whoever sends his wife away, basically for any reason, you're done with her, then just give her a certificate of divorce. Just write her a letter and send her down the road. That's what it did say in the Old Testament. But I say, Jesus, speaking to you in a more updated version, guys, I know what the Bible said. If you don't like them, let them go. But I say, everyone who divorces his wife except for the cause of unchastity or her having an affair, then you're making her commit adultery. He's saying, look, I know that your Old Testament, the law of Moses said, yeah, it's okay if you don't like her, send her down, just write her a letter and send her down the road. But I'm saying, guys, you should never divorce your wives. The only time that I would ever really even tell you that's justified is if she's having a sexual affair outside of your marriage with somebody else. Then you would be justified. But note, if you'll notice, he never does encourage anybody in that situation to do it. They brought him a woman who was caught in a very active adultery, and he didn't say, honey, go, or lady, bring her husband up here and let me tell him to go get a divorce. He never even used that as an option. Now, you're just focusing on the physical end of it. I want you to see the spiritual end of it so it'll make more sense. You, bride of Christ, have most likely had your own affair. You probably have been spiritually committing adultery. You probably, a lot of people have. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I'm parenthetically the bride of Christ. But then you get involved very deeply, emotionally, in other beliefs and in other ways of thinking. Ways of, I don't know if, I have some friends, I know some people who are born again, spirit-filled, missionary type, tongue-talking missionaries in love with Jesus, and as time has gone by, believe it or not, they've become, some of them, a few of them have become very new age. Their philosophies now are not about Jesus at all. They have gotten deeply, deeply involved in other spiritual relationships to the extent of adultery, spiritual adultery, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And legally, Jesus, the husband, the head of that couple, would be justified in cutting them off and saying, you've left me, you've abandoned me, you are now having a spiritual affair with something else, and so I will divorce you spiritually. He could legally do that, probably. He's justified in doing that. But here's what I'm trying to get you to see. Even though you deserve, he won't cut you off. Here's what you have to understand spiritually. Jesus is never going to divorce you, but he will let you leave. He will let you walk away from your marriage with him. And I've seen it happen. It breaks my heart to see some good friends of mine who were Jesus-freak Christians. They've left. And they've done things that would justify Jesus spiritually divorcing them, but he hasn't. He's still there. He's a good husband who's waiting on his wife who has betrayed him to come back home. And most of them won't do it. So that needs to be, once you understand this spiritually, that needs to be your attitude physically. So let me go over it again one more time. I don't mean to be redundant. But you probably deserve at some point deserve to be spiritually divorced by Jesus, and He won't. He'll just let you go. He will continue to love you, but He will let you walk away. And that ought to be your attitude to your husband or wife. Yeah, I'm sure they've probably done things that would physically justify you in going to an attorney and writing up papers and letting them go and being done with it. I'm not saying you wouldn't be justified. I'm just saying, instead of running them off, maybe you ought to just consider just being there. If they want to walk away, let them go. If they want to leave you, let them go. Don't try to draw up this legal battle. Just do what's right, and if they can't handle it, let them go. Malachi, which is the last book in your Old Testament. So if you're in Matthew, and we're not done with Matthew, hang a left and go to Malachi, chapter 2. Verse 16. And you could back up and get this whole thing in context. But I want you to understand something that's quoted very often.